Call hello, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash. That belongs to the elders and apostles, great millstone of the will. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and blessings to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this work you are, whatever your lot may be. Here we go. Now, just like Babylon, the great military, the counterpart, the UK morale plummets as well. So, I know last month you saw the Navy showcasing the DRAG, QUEAN is the original spelling, but QUEEN at the forefront. And I did a video maybe 3 months ago, and other brothers too, about how Babylon's military, their morale is down, and nobody wants to re-enlist or nobody wants to enlist because of the truth that's going out, everything that's coming out, and folks are really, the wool is being lifted, or the veil is being lifted, and the wool that was over everyone's eyes is being removed, and folks are starting to see this place for what it is. And the reason why UK is important, all right, so we'll get Revelation 17 and 11 straight to the point. If you want an exhaustive breakdown, I will do my best to remember to either do one on my own or find the video that has already been completed, because I'm pretty sure it will be better than what I can do anyway, and put that in there. But this verse, and the beast was and is not, and even he is the 8th and is of the 7th, right? That is America coming out of Great Britain and goeth into perdition. Okay, so the 10 horns, you understand, NATO and EU are the beast, okay? And those 10 horns are the vassal states that were Rome in the old time, but now have metastasized. This serpent has grown into a full-blown dragon, right, with 7 heads, with the 10 horns. And those 10 horns would be your vassal states of old Rome, who are now different nations like Belgium, and I don't want to butcher it, so I'm going to link it because I have it written down, and I should have thought about that. I may just grab it just in case, because I don't know which journal it's in, and it's been a minute since I covered it. Matter of fact, what I will do, I will just type it out in the description box and link the video if I can find one. But I will type out the 7 heads and 10 horns, because I don't want to go and brush over something as important and serious as this. So for the sake of time, I will keep it pushing. So let's read this out. And let's see, only 42% of Britain's military, right? And this military has been, there aren't very many countries around the world that the UK or Great Britain has not been. And the child, or should I say the child company, USA Incorporated, owned by, or I guess it's under the Crown, which is UK. Them together, there are not many places around the world that they have not been, and everywhere they go, they leave death, destruction, decay, perverted morals or perverted ways of living. And when I say perverted, I don't only mean in that alternative lifestyle way. I mean there was order, and there was family, and there was some similitude of righteousness, or as righteous as heathen can be. And he comes over and perverts every way of life, right? And that is why, especially with us, I will put the. So yeah, we got. Let me get Proverbs. Let's get this one, because I had it pulled up on Proverbs 29 and 16. Because that who, according to Job 9 and 24, and eventually I'm going to get to the article, but precepts are coming, so I'm not going to stop that. Proverbs, what was it? Proverbs 29 and 16. 29. But yeah, according to Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. They currently they are currently in rulership, but as you can tell, it's circling the drain, and that is why the mighty militaries have now begun to wind down and weaken and become as women. And I'll go a little bit more into detail once I get to the article. But let me get these precepts. Proverbs 29:16. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases, but the righteous shall see their fall, and that is what we're witnessing. And I say we humbly, because our righteousness is as filthy rags, but we are justified by Yahweh Shai. Those of us who are sincerely trying to live according to the word, trying to come under or return unto the vibration of Yahweh Shai, and not of this world. Okay. I wanted when the wicked bears rule, the people mourn. How about this? I still need to get one more. Proverbs 29:2. I was there. I just was too far. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And the people will be able to rejoice after all of these prophecies come to pass and Yahushua returns and sets up his people, the kings and priests of the earth, as we were supposed to be. But when the wicked bears rule, the people mourn. And you can see a lot of folks are dissatisfied, not only within the armed forces, but within life. Everyday life, people are dissatisfied. They are overworked. They are underpaid, especially here in Babylon. As I always say, the air you breathe is shit. The food you eat, shit. You are RAPED'd by taxes. You get taxed with your check. You pay tax on the things you buy. You pay taxes on top of tax. It's just there is no letting up. But also the scriptures do say that he'd be given the power to wear out the saints. And you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, you are an Israelite, as long as your forefather goes back to that. And if you were trying to live any sort of righteous life in this current captivity, that scripture hits home, because you are being worn out in more ways than 10. All right, so let's read this and see if there are any other scriptures that will come to mind. But as you can see, the Lord worketh in the kingdom of men, and things just don't happen overnight, right? There is a decline that happens, and we are witnessing the decline of a multi-layered, multifaceted empire that is the beast, and the whore that is America, who rides on the back of that beast. All right, so the system will be allowed to kind of build up, but as soon as he sits down and tries to fill his belly, I don't know why I can't talk. That's according to the book of Job. As soon as he tries to sit down and fill his belly, boom, that's it. You think you're gonna rest on your laurels, but you won't be able to. UK military morale continues, and it says continues to fall, with service members disgruntled over poor housing and low wages. That's the same thing in Babylon the Great, and I spent over a decade, right, in the service. The wages do suck, and people think that because you get free healthcare, that should cover it. But I'm here to tell you, you're just a practice dummy. So good luck if you need some sort of major surgery, and there's all kind of red tape and people drag their feet. It's a very, very interesting thing to see. And man, there's a scripture about I gotta find it. There's a scripture about how you're supposed to treat your men of war. All right. The findings of an annual Armed Forces Continuous Attitude Survey, so FCAS, which when I was in, they did a lot of surveys as well, but it seems like things were very slow to change, and people's attitude was just why even bother? Because ain't shit finna change. Which for the most part was true, but it seems like money came out of nowhere when it was time to go somewhere and how can I put this? When it was time to go somewhere and provide democracy, right? And I'll leave it at that. Nearly 30K military personnel were invited to contribute to the poll, which conducted between blah blah blah. Okay, with only 31% of service members who were contacted. Some 31% of servants who were contacted. Some 9,000 bothered to. So a bunch of people didn't see what I'm saying. It's the same sentiment. They're not even going to bother to respond. Let's see. Shows overall satisfaction. Poor housing, low wages continue to be the issue for the military, with only 42% of polled service members stating they were satisfied with their accommodation. Just 31% of respondents said they were satisfied with the rate of basic pay. The survey shows some 51% of respondents that they do not believe that their pay and benefits were fair, with only 31% stating otherwise. And it may not, especially if their time off, maybe their time off isn't compensated properly. Because when you're in, as especially here, if you're in the military, they'll tell you you're on duty 24/7. So the beauty is, whether you're on leave or not, you get paid. But you have to accrue a leave balance, right? You just can't take off anytime you want. You have to. It's the same as being on the outside. Like you have to, the same way people will accrue PTO by working, you have to accrue leave by showing up, and you get, I think, 2.5 days a month in Babylon's military. So, say you have 0 days of leave. You will start off with 2.5 in a month. All right. The drop largely stemmed from the disimproving attitudes of the Royal Air Force members, which, while levels of satisfaction across the other branches largely remain unchanged. The military noted Army personnel remain more pleased, and it seems, well, I won't go to that. The 45% level of satisfaction about the Royal Air Force and Royal Navy, and Royal Marines displayed 37% level on average. But it's funny to see how the sentiments are linked with the UK, and I've been to the so-called Middle East, or Asia, and with the UK military. I've been with a lot of different countries' militaries, and a lot of the sentiments, especially that are under Western authority or Western rule, a lot of the sentiments are the same. So, as you can see, we are witnessing slowly but surely. But you think it's slow, but it's not, because all it takes is one event, right? And the next thing you know, this thing can just be turned on its head. But it's all in the Lord's hands, okay? But the point of this all was to show that there is a ruler that is unfit, and on every level, even on down to the commands within the military, unfit. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. And personally, the two biggest running jokes so far are the black church, the black Christian church, and our government, because this is crazy. The things that we are seeing that are just out blatantly in your face. And of course, we understand that these things are supposed to happen, but seeing it is still just it's mind-boggling. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of a man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. And the only prudence this devil has is prudence in complete and utter wickedness. Let's see, how far did we get? Only a third of personnel feel valued by their service. Huh. What is this last part? Half of the personnel also believe their families do not benefit from their service. 80% of personnel still consider their families to be proud to be associated with the military. But, again, I just find it very interesting that you see the decline not only of Babylon here in Babylon the Great. Look at some of these. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I didn't mean to laugh all in the mic like that. Gosh, I lost my train of thought. It, man, I don't even know what I was going to say. Let's read these. Let's read some of these. All right. How about a drag show? Imbeciles at the USAF tried to get such a taxpayer-funded show approved before it got shot down. Wow. So not only were they doing it in the Navy, but they was trying to do that in the Air Force. And let me tell you, that taxpayer money could have gone to fixing some of the housing, to it maybe the water infrastructure. Because if you've ever been on a base, do not drink from that sink. I mean, you shouldn't be drinking from any sink, but do not drink from that sink if you go on any U.S. base. All right, they have no money to pay them, but send Shadow Storm missiles to you. Look at that. You understand? You see? Everyone sees your hypocrisy. Everyone sees the hypocrisy. Look at their heads. It's enough to, I don't know what he's saying. Don't worry, old chap. Your morale still has a ways to go, like 6 feet under. The good news is that you are doing it for the Empire, a very great Britain. Your wife and kids will get the medal. What an honor. And of course, he's being facetious. Exactly. You go and die for an empire, and all they give your family is a medal. All right. While the ordinary soldiers complain of poor housing and low wages, the UK government sends about, look at that, to aid. Look at that. The same thing in Babylon the Great. Why? Because the eighth is of the seventh. An Edomite is an Edomite is an Edomite. Annually, tens of thousands of UK military men and women are being raped by their. And you know what? A lot of that happens in the U.S. military. There is a briefing at least once a month about don't rape people. Surely the solution is to recruit more fatties and cross. Oh man, I'm not gonna read all this. It's pretty damn long. But you see, get the gist of it. Abandoned by their government, thousands suffering from PTSD. Right. World War II was a very different war, defending Britain from Nazi Germany. So I mean, at least that's what you were told. Who wants to be used as cannon fodder for the conflict between these two? Well, you see it, man. So I'm gonna end it. I just wanted to pull that article and show you um, the how about you? I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm still laughing at that first comment. How about Shimei Shai is dismantling this system little by little, and those who were given the eyes to see, you see it. You're watching. Things are happening. Things are speeding up, and I know that brothers and the men that have been in this thing longer than I've been alive are definitely screaming, "How long?" because they've been doing this. What a great labor and what great faith the Lord has given them. So I'm grateful for those men of the great millstone. So we'll end it. I really like Lamentation. I really like reading this. At least once a week, I like to read this. This is Lamentations 4 and 22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. So ours is done. We are well on our way to being done. And you know what? Now I have to get another scripture. Okay, I thought we were going to end it. We're well on our way to being done with our punishment, right? He will no longer carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. It's your turn. You're going to drink of that cup now. All right, let's rejoice and be glad, O daughter. Rejoice and be glad. Because if I read it, it kind of sounds like he's saying be glad, Edom. But let me read it correctly. So rejoice and be glad, comma. Now addressing the daughter of Edom that dwelleth in the land of Uz, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. It's your turn. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. No, it's already been said before, but I want to go that it begs Judith because it says that our punishment is over, right? And this is what's going to happen. I believe it's Judith 5. So according to the book of Hebrews, the Lord will write the laws on our inward parts, right? So that you'll have the charagma, the mandatory sticking of the device, the monitoring device, all right, within you. You have World War III, you have Jacob's Trouble, all of these things happening in the midst. They hit the chariots, and Yahweh Shai comes, destroys all that needs to be destroyed, beaming up those who are going to be beamed up. I pray that those of us who are listening and learning and preaching and teaching in sincerity and truth, that, and I say we humbly, that we are part of that beaming up. And, we get changed according to the book of, I believe it's in the book of Timothy, that we'll be changed and we get those new bodies. And that is when the laws will be right in our inward parts. So that means we cannot go off. So if that means we don't go off, because why did we end up in this situation in the first place? And we'll get that in Judith. And I'm going to tie it all together here. And they didn't cast for it, but okay. So I suggest you read this on your own, but I want to get straight to the point. Judith 5:17. And whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hateth iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and they were led captives into land that was not theirs, and the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. So, tying it all together, that is why we're in the predicament we are in now. However, after all the things that happened that I just explained, a brief abridged version, and those laws will be written on our inward parts, there's no way to sin. It will always be they sinned not. That means we are tied to the land. We will go off no more. We will no longer be in any captivity. And your punishment is well on the way. You hear me? Your punishment is on the way. And that is why the scripture says, render unto him double. And I truly believe, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem outside, whether it be now or in the kingdom, that the Lord is going to put everything on full display. And we're going to see just how terrible this devil was. Because we know that we used babies for gator bait, or they used babies for gator bait, and they made they would have these sex farms and made the son have sex with the mom, or the brother have sex with the sister, just so they can create the ultimate slave. Everywhere, everything that they did was to profit off of us, off of our downfall, capitalizing off of us being at the bottom. And I think that, and I know it by faith that the Lord is going to uh, uh, make us be privy, and for lack of a better term, we'll be privy to information that we didn't have, because they will never tell everything. And as awful as the things that have come about sound, I know that there's more. So within the confines of the law, within righteousness, the double that you are going to get, good grief, you don't honor the Sabbath now, but you are going to be begging for a Sabbath day in the kingdom, because that's the only time you won't be getting your ass handed to you. So with that being said, Shalom.